Receiving simulator transmission. Uploading transmitted feed. Initializing playback sequence. Alright Seipher, we're ready.
Man, this song is so catchy, and that is both a good and a bad thing. Hey everyone, Seipher here, and welcome back to Seipher Plays Kingdom Hearts. In the last episode, we splashed down in the underwater world of Atlantica, where we quickly encountered Princess Ariel, her best friend Flounder, and her nagging chaperone of a crab, Sebastian. Being that we're new to marine life, the trio showed us how to maneuver about their home before the Heartless attacked. We dispatched the Heartless and escorted Ariel back to her home, the Palace of King Triton, where Goofy immediately gave away that we were here to find the keyhole, confirming that we are outsiders meddling in the affairs of other worlds. I would say so much for the world order, but outside of keeping Aladdin from tagging along, since when have we maintained that? This time, we'll be exploring more of Atlantica's waters as we continue our search for the keyhole. But first, a few changes that I've made and a bit of advice that I need to give. Like I said I was going to do in the last episode, I did swap around Sora's shortcuts, getting rid of Stopra and putting Fyra in its place. This should be a bit more helpful for combat, as Fyra and magic in general is very useful here in Atlantica. I also changed around Ariel's AI just a tiny bit, making her use regular attacks more frequently, and putting on her special attacks and defensive moves, be that magic like Thunder, her Spiral Wave attack, or where she charges into opponents, or her Arrow Potion and Cure Potion a bit more frequently, or at least to the way that I prefer it. Then for abilities, since we got AP last episode for Sora, I decided to put on his treasure magnet. This will be rather helpful as after defeating opponents, the items they drop, money, MP orbs, and actual synthesis materials just sort of float there, and given how maneuverability is in this world, I would say having more treasure magnets equipped so that you don't have to be as close to them to get them to come to you is a good boon. And I actually forgot to do one thing. I want to actually unequip Ariel's Arrow Potion and put on her MP Rage. I feel like this would be a better use of her MP, just so that she can easily, get what she needs out of it. We have Arrow pretty much covered ourselves, and I'm sure Donald can do it as well. But MP Rage will allow her to get her MP back and be able to actually fight a bit better. So, with that taken care of, I would also like to say that while Goofy isn't all that great for this world due to how his form change kind of limits his own abilities, because Ariel has Lucky Strike as an innate ability, and by this point, Sora, if you chose the shield, and Goofy should have their Lucky Strikes, it can make getting synthesis materials a lot better in this world, particularly for the Thunder Gems and Frost Gems that enemies drop. In any case, let's get out of here. And I'm just going to ignore these guys. Because we are going to have a lot of fighting to do throughout this. Come to my grotto. I want to show you something. There it is. See? Despite what Ariel wants, we are not going to go to the grotto. We actually want to grab onto this dolphin. And as this plays out, I will just say that if you have Goofy with you, instead of Ariel on the side or Donald on the top, Goofy will hold on to Sora for this animation. And you want to do this because it is mandatory. And we are going to ignore those guys and just go to Ariel's grotto. Look at all the wonderful things Flounder and I've collected. I think it's all from the outside world. Someday, I'm going to see what's out there. I want to see other worlds. Does that sound strange? No, not at all. I used to feel the same way. Used to? I mean, I still do. Hey, why don't we try looking for that keyhole thing you were talking about? But your father said... Oh, he treats me like a little girl. He never wants to let me do anything. He just doesn't understand. I can understand that, Ariel. I mean, pretty much anyone who's been a teenager can, feeling like your parents don't understand. Too bad you're a little too headstrong to see exactly why, and he's a little too stubborn. In any case, I'm gonna be quiet for a bit because I want to just sort of take in this tranquil music, and I feel like you guys should too. It is so relaxing in here. In any case, this is a pretty good recreation from the movie. A lot of this stuff was actually there, and a bit of a unique aspect of this world, or at least this area, we will find chests that are not like the clam shells that are prevalent in this world. That are more like the chests we see in other worlds that will disappear. So let's grab this one for a mega potion, and then up here... we have one that has a torn page for the 100-acre wood, so we'll definitely want that for when we go back to Traverstown and see Merlin for the book. And since we just got that, I would like to point out one bit of information that I've learned since actually doing the minigame, Block Tigger. I learned that if you jump to Block Tigger, i.e. bounce, you will get triple points for that, which it is a little harder to do. You have to be a bit more quick on the rush command to get over there and then jump to block him. But doing so can make it a lot easier to get the necessary score. I never knew about this, and it's kind of fun realizing that I don't know everything about this game. In any case, let's get out of here.
Those impudent fools will never find the keyhole. But the girl could prove useful, and I've got the heartless on my side. Triton, my old friend, your day is coming.
A bigger, slower version of the sea neons has appeared. This is a sheltering zone. Like I said, they are bigger and slower versions of the sea neons. They just touching them will hurt Sora. If you defeat them with physical attacks, they will break up into a bunch of sea neons, which can be good, sort of experience-wise, but I honestly say use magic to finish them off so that they don't split up into various enemies. They have the same drops as sea neons, just at a higher rate. Okay, with that taken care of, let's go over this way to the undersea cave. Now, this won't be for a while, but in the original version, like the one I'm playing, you can find white mushrooms here, and they will pantomime for stop, which will be just them freezing in place as if they were in mid-walk, with one arm swinging forward and one arm swinging back. You can get stop arts from them if you cast stop on them 3 times in a row, and power gems from them for doing so. Kind of useful, but we won't be able to see them for a while. I did actually do a bit of testing off screen, and they will not appear right now. I'm not sure when exactly they will be, but I would be, if I were a betting man, I'd say after we complete the events of this world that they will definitely be here. You can run into them here in Final Mix, but they will not drop stop arts. They are actually a trigger for a rare heartless in the Final Mix version called the Pink Agaricus, which has its own can of worms. I won't be going into it because I'm not playing a version that has it. But don't worry so much, anyone who's playing Final Mix now. There is another area in this world. It's just a bit later, and we will be seeing it in this episode. So let's go to the calm deaths. And you know what? Let's just do a bit of fighting. And let's go into the Undersea Valley. Now we're probably going to have to do a bit of fighting.
Fire! Fire! Fire!
And of course you do that, Ariel.
Fire!
Well. We're just going to grab onto this dolphin who's here now, since we did the one in the Undersea Gorge. And he's going to take us through here, and you don't want to stick around because he will eventually come back, and he will push you into the current, which will make you have to do that all over again. But here we are to the sunken ship, a very familiar locale of the movie. If we go here, we want to actually swim down, and there should be a broken or sunken ship with a hole in its hull, with a chest inside containing an elixir. That'll be very helpful, especially seeing as how much magic this world uses. Then we want to actually go over here, because there's another chest containing a mithril shard. And now that we've taken care of that, we can go into the ship through two entrances. We can either go in through the top, or we can go in through this hole in the side. It'll affect the scene that's about to play. So I'm gonna go for the side. A little weird being in here with no music whatsoever. If we go over here, we can see a chest that contains another mithril shard. And then if we go behind the stairs here, it's a little awkward with how the camera can be in this small locale. There's a hole in the floor here and a clamshell containing a mithril. And now, we saw this chest right over here. So let's go. Well, that would have been terrifying if you actually stuck around and fought us in these enclosed quarters, kind of like you did in the actual movie, but that is not all that frightening since you just backed off. In any case, let's open up this chest. Its shape reminds me of something. Obtain Crystal Trident. Alright, well, we definitely have to go out there and deal with that guy, but I will just say now that this is the area where you can find white mushrooms in Final Mix, and you can also find them here, but it's more important for Final Mix for stop arts and the items that white mushrooms can drop. But again, we won't be seeing them here for a while, so let's just head on out. And where? Yep, there he is. Ambushing our party in the sunken ship. This is Glut the Shark, simply known as the Shark in game. You frankly don't even have to fight him. He'll just patrol the ship once you exit. So if you don't feel like fighting him, go ahead and just leave. He's really not all that tough. He only has a few biting attacks and a charge that, if he runs into a wall, will stun him for a bit. However, he does drop items every time that you defeat him, and he's got a decent experience rate of 100. All in all, pretty good. If you're having trouble, I'd suggest casting Arrow. And like Sabor, he will appear here in the sunken ship again once we leave, but he can also start appearing in other areas of Atlantica, though it's a bit random. It's a bit harder to really see, since unlike Sabor, who was the only enemy we fought for a while, we've been fighting Heartless plenty of times up to this point. Really, you'd think he'd be more scared of the Heartless, but I guess the Heartless aren't drawn to his heart since he's just an animal. In any case, we want to actually go toward this broken off ship by this stone with a marking on it, and we see something that we can lock onto and examine. Huh? What is that thing? If only I could reach it. Yeah, we'll have to remember to come back for that. In any case, let's go down to this hole in the wall to get back to the Undersea Gorge. And we see a geyser right here. We're gonna just activate it and then use its power to break out that chest that we saw back at the beginning of this episode. And it is actually interactable. It contains an orichalcum. Very useful. In any case, let's return to Ariel's grotto. And go slot that crystal trident into that trident-shaped hole.
Ariel, you've disobeyed me again. I told you not to leave the palace.
Daddy, no! How could you?
Young man, you're not from another ocean. You're from another world, aren't you?
Huh?
Then you must be the key bearer.
How did you know?
You may fool Ariel, but you can't fool me. You don't know your dorsal fin from your tail. As the key bearer, you must already know one must not meddle in the affairs of other worlds.
Of course I know that, but...
You have violated this principle. The key bearer shatters peace and brings ruin.
Oh, Sora's not like that.
I thank you for saving my daughter, but there is no room in my ocean for you or your key.
My, the poor child suffers such deep sorrow. What a pity. If only there was something we could do. Wait, maybe she can be of some help. Yes, maybe she can be of some help to you.
Who are you talking about?
Oh, she would surely help you. She'd make all your dreams come true. Ursula can help. You called, my dear?
You're Ursula. Well, I was just wondering if...
It's all right. Helping others is what I live for. Let me guess. You wish to see other worlds. That shouldn't be too hard. After all, your new friends came from another world.
What?
But they had special help. That mysterious key. Now, cheer up, sweetie. You have something special, too.
Huh?
Now listen carefully.
Oh, that is a drastic change of tone from the music, almost a whiplash. And that is certainly not a good thing that's happening. I would say we should go deal with that right away, but I'm a bit preoccupied by that scene and what Triton said specifically. It's clear he's aware of the Keyblade, and while this scene back in the day surely got the fanbase wondering about previous wielders and how they were either forces of good or forces of ruin, like Triton said, I'm meanwhile hung up on the fact that he knows that the Heartless are invading his ocean, that they are coming from Ursula's domain, knows about the world's keyhole, knows that we are the key bearer, and because of Goofy, knows that we are here to find the keyhole, yet he just wants us to leave. You'd think an overbearing protective father like him, with the knowledge he has on the Keyblade, the keyhole, and to a lesser extent the Heartless, would want our help after he's seen that we've protected Ariel from the Heartless, in spite of how he thinks the Keybearer only brings destruction. I mean, I think we've sort of proven our worth in at least helping him, or his daughter at least. Or at the very least, I would expect that that he would allow us to seal the keyhole and then just leave, but I guess I can only chalk this up to I can only chalk this inconsistency up to mimicking the movie, but not fully committing all the way. As by comparison, in the movie when he had his little temper tantrum or explosion of anger, he actually wrecked this place in the movie, where he destroyed everything that Ariel loved. And after she swam away completely heartbroken over it, he immediately regretted his actions. I guess him not fully exploding like he did in the movie isn't getting him to see that maybe he's been going about things the wrong way. In any case, I'd say we're good to sit here and ruminate on that for a while. Next time, we'll head off to find Ariel and hopefully put a stop to whatever scheme Ursula has in store for her. I want to thank you all for watching. Until next time, stay gold.
Playback sequence terminated. Transmission disconnected.